want to say hi?
Ooh.
Hi, Kona. Hi, Kona. Hi, Kona. Hey guys, it's Alexis Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. So today what we're doing is a nursing student Q&A. We're answering all the questions you guys left on my previous video about all things you wanted to know from a nursing student, straight from two nursing students. So I'm here with my friend Kelly.
Hi.
She goes to school with me. She's also a nurse in training. And together we're going to answer all these questions that you guys left for us while drinking some wine, because y'all know as nursing students, we need to chill and relax as much as we possibly can.
That's right.
So this is our chill time. This is actually our spring break. We go back Monday, so this is our last hoorah.
Yeah, we have 2 days left, so.
2 days left before the grind starts again. So Kelly has all the questions on her phone, and we're gonna randomly pick whichever ones come up, we're gonna answer. I'm sorry that we couldn't answer everyone's questions. There was over like 100 questions, and this video would have been like 500 minutes long if we answered everyone's questions. But I'm gonna try to do this in 2 parts, so you might see part 1 and part 2. So watch out for part 2 if it goes a little bit longer than expected, which I'm 100% sure it will. So stay tuned for part 2, and we'll get to as many questions as we possibly can.
Yes.
So question number 1.
Okay. Did you ever feel like you weren't smart enough or capable enough during nursing school? And this was asked by FMTEE.
Every single day.
Basically. Yeah.
Nursing school makes you feel like you are dumb. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. How does it
No,
make
that's
you feel?
true. Yeah. And before you start nursing school, the advisors will tell you, like, you know, there's other options out there, you know? Like, yeah, basically, you're not going to make it. And then once you do make it, you know, you just feel like it's too much and you just can't do it, and you're just not going to be able to learn everything.
Yeah. I would say every lecture I have, I'm like, how will I ever know this information? Even when I'm following nurses and they're like talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, how will I ever know this stuff?
Yeah, like, how am I supposed to remember all of these medications, remember all the signs and symptoms? How am I possibly supposed to be able to do this on my own?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you think, like, oh, once you're in nursing school, you're good, but I never thought I would be good enough to even get into nursing school, and now that I'm in it, I'm like, I don't think I'll be good enough to graduate.
Exactly. Yep. Sounds about right.
So, yeah, that's that.
Okay. Did you end up making more friends in nursing school? And this one was asked by Kim B.
No, I have no friends in nursing school. Yes, I have a couple of friends in nursing school. When we started, everyone was telling us that these will be the best friends for the rest of your life. And I do think that's true. Like, you go through some of the toughest times with these people.
Yeah.
And you just end up, like, being close.
Yeah, because nobody else understands, like, what you're going through except for the people that are going through nursing school. So you have that common understanding with each other and support system. But, you know, first semester, I feel like our whole class of, like, 90 people, we were all trying to be friends, like, thinking we all got this. And then by second semester, you had, like, 5 friends.
Yeah.
Because you form study groups and, you know, but I do feel like some of the people I met, I'm going to be friends with for a really long time.
Yeah.
Just not a lot of them.
Yeah, same. And don't let it fool you. Nursing school can be, like, a little bit cliquey. Like, I feel like there's cliques in our program.
There is, for sure.
But we're all friendly. Like, everyone loves everyone. But there's definitely, like, groups that are their own little groups.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the next question is also by FMTEE. Have you ever dealt with an aggressive or angry patient, and how did it go?
We actually have a funny story about this together. We've done both of our clinical, well, we're in our 3rd semester now, but the first 2 semesters we had all our clinicals together. So a lot of our experiences are shared. So
Yes.
But for me, I experienced my first angry patient with her.
Yes.
You want to tell them the story?
Sure. So we were in clinical, and this was our second semester. And she had to give her patient a bed bath, and she asked me if I could help her. So we went in there. She's like
queen of like all baths, and every time I had a question on the floor or like needed to do something, I'm like, please, Kelly, like show up. She was like my comfort zone. So like I ran to her. I'm like, can you help me give a bed bath? Because at this point I had never given a bed bath. So I was like, I'm gonna go ask the pro to help me.
Okay, so we go in there and this patient is extremely confused, aggressive, hitting us, not cooperating, and so you have to turn the patient on their side to give them a bath. She would not do it, and she was nonverbal too. I'm pretty sure she like wasn't talking to us. She was just hitting, and she really didn't like me. I don't know what I did to her, but like she was just not happy, and she was like pinching us and hitting us, and
Kelly was just like, whoa. And I'm like,
it's always the ones that look so sweet, like
yeah.
the sweet, cute old ladies, and they're just vicious. That was interesting.
But anyways, how we deal with it. I actually had a really angry patient the other day. I think the patient was just like really tired and wanted to go to sleep, but they were being so rude. Like, we were doing our best to help this patient, and let me tell you, like, not a nice patient at all. But you just have to understand, like, you're seeing this person at the worst time of their life, and they're going through a lot. So my best thing to do is just like, okay, I understand, like, like, you can't take anything personal, because a lot of, like, 90% of the time, it's not because of you, it's because of how frustrated they are. That's just how I deal with it.
That's true. And every situation's different, so it's just kind of like, you do what you gotta do, because you have to get your work done. You have to provide their care, so you kind of just have to feel it out and just do what you can, because you can't not do something for them if they're fighting you. I mean, unless there are circumstances when you can't force them, but, you just kind of have to, what she said, remember that, like, they're at their worst time, and you just gotta not take it personally.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you experienced a death so far? And this was asked by Jade Valentine.
Fortunately, I have not yet. Have you?
Not in nursing school, but I've worked as a tech for a few years, so I have over that period of time, but not in clinical, which I think those would be two very different experiences, like as a nurse and as a tech, because they have different responsibilities, and, your level of care is different.
I feel like as a tech, you have way more patients, so it's not as easy to get as attached to one patient. But as a nurse, you have only, like, you have a smaller amount of patients, so it's easier to be more involved with that patient.
Yeah, and you know more about them on a personal level, so it's a lot different of a situation. But thankfully, not so far as, like, my nursing role have I experienced that. Okay, this was asked by Solsista1088. Can you describe what your clinical experience is like? There's a 3-part question, so we'll start with that. That's a broad question.
Yeah. Clinicals are interesting.
That's a good word.
I would say our first semester, we had an amazing clinical instructor. Yeah. And it was my first time seeing anything healthcare, so I was like really, really out of my element. And I feel like a lot of the time I was just uncomfortable. I feel like that's what you feel the majority of time in your clinical is uncomfortable, if I could explain it in one way.
No, that's true. That's true. What time do you show up for clinical?
Our first semester, we had to be there at 7. The second, we had to be there at 6:10.
Yeah.
And I live really far away, so I had to be up at 4:30 on those days where we had to be at clinical at 6:10.
Yeah, that was terrible. This semester, I have to be there at 6:30. We meet at 6:30.
Was it 6:10 or 6?
I don't know.
This semester, I have to be there at 6:10. I think it was 6 last semester.
Yeah, I think, or
6:30. I don't know.
When she was 47 minutes late. No.
Yeah.
6. And then this semester,
very
I'm
early.
6:30. So
what is a typical day like? So what were our responsibilities in clinical are basically taking vitals, doing assessments like lung sounds, checking for edema, cap refill, like all the assessments that you would do, as well as giving medications and cleaning up your patient, doing bed baths, anything that patient needs. Basically, everything a nurse would do, we pretty much do. But some things we're not allowed to do, so we'll just like watch with the nurse.
Yeah.
Basically.
You basically take over the role of the nurse and the tech that day for your 1 to 2 patients that you get. This semester we get 2 patients each.
Yeah.
So you take over, you basically do total care on that patient. So do everything except for, a couple things that your program and the hospital won't let you do. But, yeah. And then, how often do you go?
How often do we go? I go to clinicals once a week, but this semester we have different clinicals. So there's 3 different ones. We have an advanced med surg clinical, a maternity OB clinical, and then a pediatric clinical.
Yeah.
So we have 3 OB clinicals and 3 pediatric clinicals.
Yes.
Throughout the semester.
So most of the semester you're going 2 days a week. You're doing 1 med surg day and 1 of the OB or the pediatric, so you're going to clinical twice a week. And,
Yeah, basically.
Okay. This one is by Michaela Houston. How do you deal with stress and anxiety in nursing school?
We let it consume our lives. That's a good question.
I don't want to be negative, but it's like almost like you don't. You just, it's there and you can't really make it go away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dealing with it, personally, I take my time to myself. Like, every day I try to get, like, at least 30 minutes to an hour of, like, watching Netflix or YouTube videos, just, like, alone time, because I need that for my sanity.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And I get really bad anxiety, so how I control it. I get really overwhelmed, so I try to just write out on my planner everything I have to do that week, and it kind of decreases my anxiety a little bit when I can see something like written down and planned for me. So that way I like take the overwhelming feeling out of my mind and put it on paper and like plan it out. So I don't know, that just like helps me.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. That does help a lot. Oh, this is a good one. This is by
Booyah Arike.
Sorry if we don't say these right. How do you balance your relationship during nursing school? This is a good question.
We fight all the time.
Well, I'm kidding. Pretty long-term relationships, I would say. So this is a good question.
I've been in a relationship for a year and a half, and
I'm at like 6.5 years with my boyfriend. So he's seen before nursing school, during nursing school, same with yours.
It's important to find time for your significant other. Like, once you get into nursing school, your life is consumed by nursing school, but you have to realize, like, your partner isn't in nursing school either, and they didn't sign up to be in nursing school. So it's not fair that, like, your life is completely taken over and they're kind of on the back burner.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, make time for date nights. Like, make time to just spend time with them and not studying, and make them feel important.
Yeah. Because they don't understand what it's like, even though they say, like, we get it, you know, I work hard too. It's like, well, you know, that's true, but they don't understand, like, what we go through in nursing school.
Nobody
and how hard it is and how much time and effort we put into it. So you really just have to, it's hard, and you don't see them as much as you'd want to, and you have to make sacrifices. Like, I can't come over tonight because I have to study, and, you know, I have to go to bed early, and I can't chill with you because I have to be up at 4 a.m., because we have an exam tomorrow, and, you know, clinicals take away your time. So it's really hard. It is hard.
And my boyfriend's favorite question is, are you done studying? Like, we are never done studying. What do you mean?
Exactly. Yeah, my boyfriend the other day, he was like, oh, well, now you can take a break. I'm like,
what is a break?
I don't even know what that is.
I'm on spring break right now, and it's still not a break. Like, I'm still studying all break.
Exactly.
Nobody really understands it, but try to make them understand as much as you can. And it's definitely not impossible, though.
No.
People before would say, like, oh, there's no way you can balance a relationship, a job, or it's possible. You just have to manage your time.
And you just have to remind your boyfriend or girlfriend that it is temporary and it will end, and then you'll be a nurse and it'll all be worth it. You just have to remind them it's temporary, you know? Yeah. Okay. Do you think someone with social anxiety can pursue nursing? And this one's by FMTEE.
Yes. There's some socially awkward people in our program.
Yeah.
No shade or anything.
It's true. It's true.
Honestly, I feel like nursing just changes you as a person anyways. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I was, like, shy before. I mean, a little bit.
I was.
But it really just teaches you to, like, you get thrown out there when you're a nurse. Like, you have to learn to be comfortable with talking to people. You meet different people every single day. You have to do strange things to them. Like, you have to have some level of comfort with people to be able to, like, wipe their butts and, like, clean their genitals.
Yeah. But I think it makes it a little easier because usually you're with your patient one-on-one. Not all the time, but, you know, it's not like you're doing something in front of a group of people and you're not, like, being watched. You know, you have that time with your patient that you're one-on-one, so it's not as uncomfortable. And as long as you remain confident, they'll be confident in you. Because if you act, like, all anxious, they're gonna be like, do you really know what you're doing? Mm-hmm. So you just have to kind of, like, put on a brave face and, like, pretend that you're not anxious, which is kind of hard to do, but it's possible. It's possible.
I feel like you grow out of it. Like, the more I, like, work with patients, the less, is that a word? The less uncomfortable I am, I guess you could say.
It takes time, though, but it happens. It'll be good. Okay, this one is also by FMTEE. Does someone tell you when you can go on break or when's the clock out?
I guess this question is for, like, when we're working. We both work as techs, so for me, I go on break or lunch whenever I want to. Nobody tells me. But, of course, we, like, communicate with the other techs on the floor. Be like, hey, I'm taking a break. Can you watch my patients?
As long as you have somebody watching your patients, it really doesn't matter when you go. I mean, sometimes you'll go to lunch at 11, and sometimes you won't go till 4. Or sometimes you won't go at all. So it's just kind of like whenever you can get a chance and somebody's willing to watch your patients for you. And then at clinical,
we're told what to do at clinical.
Basically.
So we have specific times for everything.
And some instructors will tell you, like, oh, around 10 you can take a 15 for, you know, breakfast or a snack. And then some instructors, you don't get a break. And if you're seen in the break room, you're not doing anything and you get in trouble. So it just kind of depends on your instructor. Okay, this one is by Rachel August. Were you always set on becoming a nurse, or did you have another career path in mind?
I kind of knew in high school that I wanted to be a nurse. When I was, like, picking out my career path for college and everything, I, like, explored the business world and things like that, and I'm like, that's boring. Like, I didn't want a job that I just sat at a desk or in an office all day. Yeah. And I definitely wanted to work with, like, babies or kids, so I'm like, nursing is perfect. So I knew since then that I wanted to do it.
My mom is a nurse, and a bunch of my aunts and uncles and my grandma, all nurses. So I pretty much knew for a long time that I wanted to be a nurse, but I actually started as a psych major in college, and I thought about going into psych nursing. That changed quickly. But, I don't know. I always had to do something in the medical field. Even if it wasn't nursing, I couldn't imagine doing anything else, honestly.
True that.
Okay. This one is by FMTEE. Have you experienced any bullying from other nurses? Define bullying.
I haven't been bullied, but I have had nurses that kind of just, like, brush you off, which is so, like,
yeah, it's frustrating.
I hate when nurses do that because you were in our position at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we're, like, helping you out, like, taking vitals for you, doing things that you have to
passing
do.
your meds. And...
like, I don't want to annoy you, but I have to do this. Like, I have to follow you. It's part of the path to become a nurse, too.
And most of the nurses have to volunteer to be shadowed.
Yeah.
Like, most of them, their charge nurse will get volunteers. So it's like, if you volunteered for this, why are you not...
Exactly.
I don't know.
I haven't had any, like, mean nurses, but I had nurses that, like, could really care less. But I've had friends that had, like, terrible stories.
Yeah, I've followed some nurses that were just kind of mean, and they just would walk away from me and, like, ignore me. It's really frustrating, but unfortunately there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But
don't be like them when you become a nurse.
And I found that nurses that were techs first are usually a lot nicer and more willing to teach nursing students than nurses that weren't techs. I don't know why, but
I think it's because when you work as a tech, like, everybody kind of, doesn't like talk down to you per se, but they kind of like throw you around like a rag doll. They're like, do this, do that, can you get this for me? And like, you know what it's like to be in that position, so when you work as a nurse, like, you don't want to treat other people like that.
That's true. Okay. This one is by FMTEE. Shout out to you.
Thank you for all these questions.
MVP of her channel, for real. Do you get sick often from being in the hospital, and how do you remain healthy when you're around really ill patients all the time?
Contact precautions.
Yeah. I mean, that's true though.
I haven't really gotten sick at all from being in the hospital. If I think I got sick like once in nursing school, and that was like just a cold, like nothing that I caught from the hospital. I don't even think I was doing clinicals at the time.
I don't think I've ever gotten sick from being in the hospital.
Wash your hands, definitely. Yeah. That's how you prevent that.
That's true. And when they're on contact precautions, don't be like, oh, I don't feel like putting on the gown, I'm just gonna put on gloves.
Wear the freaking contacts.
Because you might not get sick, but you can pass it to another patient.
And you might go home with C. diff and poop everywhere.
Yeah. And then you'll get it on in your house and in your car. It's just yeah, seriously. And vitamin C.
Vitamin C, yes. Our instructor told us at the beginning of the most stressful semester we ever had, take your vitamin C because you get no sleep, don't eat healthy, stressed out, your immune system is like, so vitamin C. Yep. There you go.
Pretty much. Okay, this one is by Rachel August. If you weren't a nurse, what would you be?
A scripper.
That's a good question.
Oh, I would be like... But there's no money in that. I would definitely do something with dogs. I'm like a big dog lover. Like, she has a dog and he's like in the cage right here, and I just want to go hug him so bad right now.
Like a vet?
I couldn't be a vet. Like,
that's
like a shelter. I don't know.
Like a shelter.
Like, do you watch? You know the show with the pit bulls and parolees?
Yes.
I would like do something like that,
that'd be really
and work off donations and eat canned soup.
I would donate to you.
Girl, thank you.
I think. Can I say PA? Or am I supposed to like say something out of the medical field?
I couldn't see you doing anything about medical. You're like so medically entwined.
I couldn't imagine doing anything but medical something. But I think PA. I don't think I'd want to be a doctor, but a PA, I would do that. Yeah. That'd be fun if I couldn't be a nurse.
Okay, this one is from Karina Rojas. What is the hardest and easiest part of nursing school? Everything is the hardest part.
Yeah, time management.
Let's start with the easiest part. Is there an easy part?
There really isn't. Well, having a support system constantly around you is pretty helpful. Mm-hmm. That makes it easier, that's for sure.
I feel like there's no easy part.
Yeah.
At all.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life and probably will ever do.
There's nothing really easy about it.
No. You have to change your entire life. Everything you do, every day is dedicated around nursing school. Yeah. It's not
the hardest part for me was like adapting to the testing style. Like changing from like memorizing to like critical thinking and applying. I still am trying to get the hang of that.
Yeah, that is really hard. And I think time management is definitely the hard part too, because you're just doing it all day, every day. So you have to, work your work schedule, your relationship, your family, your errands around. It's just like nursing school is the center of everything, and you have to work everything around it. That's hard.
Very hard. Advice on the HESI. This is by Holly Elliott. We don't take the HESI, and I really have no idea what the HESI is about. Yeah. This is from Kwesi Couture. I'm like butchering these names. I'm sorry. How do you manage your time in nursing school? Use a planner. Yes. Write everything down.
Yes.
As much stuff as you can.
Yes.
Even I would take it as far as like writing down what time you're gonna study, because when it's like written down, it kind of like makes you feel like you have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's how I manage my time.
And I think, I don't know if this is really managing your time, but when you plan to study with certain people, that kind of forces you to go do it, because it's not like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to study at 3 today, you're probably going to still watch Netflix. But if you say, I'm meeting Lexi at 3, you're going to go there, and it's going to help you, like, get studying time in. And we both live out of our planner, so that's, like, number one, I would say.
Planner's my life.
Planner.